Everything you once believed is starting to unravel. The meanings you were given about life, success, love, identity no longer fit. They feel like old clothes clinging to a body that's already outgrown them. And now, in the silence left behind, you hear it. Not answers, but questions. Not comfort, but a wild, open space. This is where most turn back. But if you dare to step forward, you will find something terrifying and magnificent. Nothing has meaning, and that means you're free. The death of absolute truths. There was a time when you believed the world made sense, that good and evil were real, that life had a clear purpose, that if you followed the rules, everything would be okay. But now, the colors are fading. Certainties crumble beneath your fingertips. The sky you once prayed to feels silent, not cruel, just absent. This is not madness. This is the first flicker of clarity. You are waking up from the dream of certainty. The dream they gave you, not because they were wise, but because they were afraid. Truth, once handed down like a sacred relic, now lies in pieces at your feet. And in those fragments, you see a strange new possibility. If no meaning is absolute, maybe you get to choose. When the gods fall silent, you used to speak to something higher, to a god, a system, a future. Even if you didn't believe in religion, you believed in something. Progress, success, love, purpose. But now, the voices that once answered you have gone quiet. You ask the same questions, but the echoes feel hollow. This silence feels like abandonment. But what if it's an invitation? An invitation to stop outsourcing your answers, to stop begging the sky for instruction, to stop waiting for the universe to tell you who you are. The gods didn't betray you. They simply stepped aside so that you could finally meet yourself. How despair is the first step toward awakening. There is a moment in every soul's journey when all feels lost. It doesn't announce itself with drama. It creeps in through apathy, fatigue, disconnection. You stop caring. You drift. You wonder what's the point. This is the darkness Nietzsche called nihilism, a vacuum where values once lived, a feeling that life is weightless and nothing matters. But look again. This despair is not the end. It is the soil before the seed. It is the fire that burns down the old world so something real can rise. You cannot awaken while clinging to false comfort. You must first let it all die. The lies, the borrowed dreams, the second-hand hopes. And then you begin. The liberation buried beneath nihilism. You were told that meaning gives you freedom. But meaning, when inherited and unexamined, is a chain. It defines you before you define yourself. It tells you what success is, what love should feel like, what your life is worth. But now you're here, naked, unanchored, terrified, unnamed and free. Because if nothing has meaning, then you are no longer a prisoner. There is no fixed role to play, no destiny written for you. You are not the actor, you are the author. Not the passenger, but the one holding the wheel. This is not the end of hope. This is the beginning of authorship. The old meanings are gone, but you are still here. And that means anything is possible. The myth of purpose, handed down by others. You were born into a story already in progress. A story written by voices that came before you. Parents, teachers, society, history. They told you what to want, who to be, what matters. You didn't choose your first beliefs, you inherited them. Be successful, be good, follow the rules, find your purpose. But what if that purpose was never yours? What if the goals you chase are just echoes? What if the life you're building is a monument to someone else's dream? There comes a moment when you must pause and ask not, am I doing this well? But why am I doing this at all? Because the deepest prison is not made of bars, but of unquestioned beliefs. Why tradition became a prison tradition pretends to protect you. It offers the comfort of predictability, the illusion of meaning, the safety of sameness. But underneath the surface, it limits. It chains the infinite possibility of your being to a single path. You were told to color inside the lines, to never question the sacred, the normal, the expected. And every time you obeyed, a little piece of your soul fell asleep. Tradition has its place, but when it becomes your identity, your compass, your cage, it must be challenged. Because you were not born to repeat, you were born to reinvent. And sometimes the most sacred act is to walk away from what you were told is holy. The courage to confront the void, to reject inherited meaning, is to stand before a terrifying question: what now? This is the moment most people run from. They dive back into distractions, into borrowed causes, into busy lives, anything to avoid the silence. Because the void is not empty, it is overwhelming. It asks everything of you. To face it, you must be willing to feel lost, to admit you don't know, to let go of the comforts that kept you asleep. But if you can stand there, in the heart of the unknowing, you will find something more honest than belief, more alive than dogma, more you than anything you were taught. And it begins with one act: staying, not running, not numbing, just staying with the silence until it speaks, unlearning everything to find something real, true. Freedom begins not with learning, but with unlearning. You must shed the labels. You must unlearn the shame, the shoulds, the smallness. You must let go of what the world told you was success, identity, truth. Because your mind is not free until it is empty of noise, and only in that emptiness can you emerge. This is not easy. It will feel like losing your mind, your direction, your sense of self. But what you are losing was never truly yours. And what will rise in its place will not need approval, will not beg for meaning. It will be meaning, raw, original, and real. This is not the end of your path. It is the first real step. The world is blank. You are the brush. Now that the old meanings have collapsed, now that you've walked away from the borrowed maps and hollow truths, what's left? A terrifying, magnificent canvas. Nothing is drawn for you. No line, no shape, no color has been dictated. This emptiness is not a curse. It is creation's raw material. It is the silent invitation that life extends only to the brave. What will you paint? You are not here to follow a script. You are here to become the artist, wild, flawed, alive. And the beauty of it is this: even your mistakes become brushstrokes, even your fears become texture, even your silence becomes space on the canvas. How creation replaces belief. When belief dies, you do not fall into despair. You rise into responsibility. There is no savior coming, no cosmic force to guide your every move. And thank God for that, because now you are free to create meaning, to shape the clay of existence with your own hands. Every choice becomes a declaration. This is what I stand for. This is what I value. This is how I will live. Not because I was told to, but because I choose to. This is the ultimate rebellion. Not to destroy belief, but to outgrow it. To replace it not with new dogma, but with art, with action, with presence. You become not the believer, but the builder, living without a script. Most people live by a script they never wrote. It tells them when to smile, when to settle, what to dream about, and what to be ashamed of. But once you step off the stage, once you realize there is no audience worth impressing, you begin to improvise. You wake up and ask yourself, what feels real to me today? Not what's expected, not what's smart, what's true. And this unscripted life is messy. You'll stumble. You'll contradict yourself. You'll fail in ways the script would never allow. But you will also glow, because every move you make will belong to you. And that authenticity will be felt in your voice, your gaze, your silence. You will no longer play a character. You will be the play itself. You are both the sculptor and the stone. The greatest secret is this: you are not just the artist. You are also the material. You shape your life, and your life shapes you. You chip away at the falsehoods and reveal a form you've never seen before. This is not about perfection. This is not about becoming something better. It's about becoming yourself in the truest, rawest sense. Not who they expected, not who you pretended to be, but who you've always been beneath the noise. Every scar becomes a mark of authorship. Every doubt becomes part of the sculpture's soul. You are building a being, not in marble, but in lived truth. And when others see what you've created, they will not always understand it, but they will feel its gravity, its weight, its originality, because when you stop living to be understood, you begin living to be real, staring into the void without flinching. There's a moment when the noise dies down, no voices to guide you, no beliefs to hold on to, just the raw silence of existence staring back at you. This is the abyss, and most look away, but not you. You stand there, eyes wide open. Not because you are fearless, but because you are ready. The abyss is not evil. It is not cruel. It simply reflects what you are not willing to see: your freedom, your nothingness, your terrifying potential. To stare into the void is to face the truth that no one is coming to save you. And strangely, in that darkness, you begin to feel something ancient stir, not despair, but power, the strength found in embracing chaos. You are taught to fear chaos, to tidy the wildness of life, to organize every emotion, every thought, every outcome. But chaos is not your enemy. It is your birthright. The universe itself was born from disorder. Stars emerged from darkness, beauty from destruction. So when your plans crumble, when your identity melts, when life refuses to go as expected, do not panic. Dive. Let the chaos rearrange you. Let it strip you of everything that was too small. Let it break your false peace and reveal the fire underneath, because real strength is not control. It is surrender, the kind of surrender that transforms you from the inside out, turning anxiety into creative fire. What you call anxiety is often misunderstood energy. It is the pulse of your unlived life, the spark of something trying to break through the shell of who you've been. You feel it in your chest, your stomach, your breath, and you try to suppress it, numb it, medicate it. But what if you listened instead? What if that tremor was not a weakness but a signal, a call to action, a demand for transformation? The artist feels it before the masterpiece. The rebel feels it before the revolution. The creator feels it before the leap. Anxiety is not the enemy. It is the wind at your back, violent, urgent, divine. Don't run from it. Shape it. Let it burn through the lies. Let it push you into motion. Turn the tremble into a roar, laughing in the face of cosmic indifference. Yes, the universe doesn't care. It will not applaud your success. It will not comfort your tears. It will not stop spinning for your heartbreak. But that's not tragedy. That's freedom, because in a universe without imposed meaning, you are free to invent your own significance, to live not for some divine scoreboard, but for the sheer, absurd, defiant joy of being. So laugh, not because life is easy, but because it's yours. Not because everything makes sense, but because you don't need it to. The most powerful thing you can do in the face of indifference is to care anyway, to love anyway, to create anyway. Your laughter, your fire, your art, these are your rebellion. And the universe, cold and vast, becomes your stage. You are not broken, you are unformed. The feeling you carry that something is wrong with you, it's a lie. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not missing some secret key to life. You are simply unformed, like molten metal before it becomes a blade, like raw clay before it becomes a sculpture, like silence before the first note is sung. They taught you to fear this in-betweenness, to rush it, to fix it, to hide it. But this is your most sacred space, because here you are not defined by past mistakes or future expectations. You are possible, infinite, becoming. Let go of the need to be complete, and trust the beauty of being in flux. Power through self-definition. You will no longer be defined by others, not by their opinions, not by their categories, not by their praise or their criticism. You define yourself. With every action, every word, every silence, you are sculpting something real. This is power that doesn't shout, it doesn't demand, it simply is. To define yourself is to take your place in the world not as a product, but as a presence, not as a brand, but as a being. And once you've tasted this power, you will never again trade it for acceptance. The joy of being undefinable. What if the most beautiful thing about you is that you can't be pinned down? You are not one thing, not a fixed personality, not a consistent idea. You are a living contradiction, a storm and a stillness, a warrior and a wanderer, light and shadow, changing with the season of your soul. And that is your magic. Let them try to label you. Let them try to box you in. Smile and move like water through their fingers. The joy is in becoming, not arriving. You were never meant to be finished. You were meant to evolve. Begin again, endlessly. This is your invitation. If nothing has meaning, then every moment is a blank page. Every morning is a resurrection. Every breath is a brushstroke. You do not need permission to begin again. You do not need certainty to move forward. You only need the courage to write, with your life, a story that is yours. So here is your invitation. Let go of the roles. Drop the masks. Release the hunger for meaning from outside. And instead, create. Create your philosophy, your rituals, your codes of honor, your way of walking through this mad, gorgeous, meaningless world with purpose only you understand. Because in a world where nothing has meaning, you have the rarest power of all, to choose, to build, to become. The journey begins now. If this awakens something inside you, a memory of freedom, a whisper of rebellion, a hunger to live without chains, then don't let it fade. This is not just a realization, it's a revolution, one that starts with a single defiant act to live on your own terms, explore more, read more, question more, but above all, create. Create the life that makes your soul feel seen. And when the world tells you nothing matters, smile and say, "That's exactly why I'm free."